Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce.
Hey, David, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing better than you are, I understand. You got a cold, eh?
A little under the weather. Spirits lifted by that wind in Calgary, which will always lift my spirits, but feeling a little crummy for sure.
A bit of a weird game. You know, the Oilers dominated the first, and then it was quite a hard-fought game after that. Very intense after that. Like the Flames seemed to really up the physical play and the intensity, and they made a game of it. But the Oilers won 3-1. Lucky 13, their 13th win in a row. Bruce, fan freaking tastic. Fantastic.
New record for a Canadian-based hockey team in NHL history.
Yeah.
Beating the Habs with 12, two other Habs teams with 11, and the Ottawa Senators from about 15 years ago when they were really good at 11.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Ottawa Senators from the 1920s or something.
The Ottawa
like that.
Silver Seven, yeah.
The Silver Seven. And they used to play seven players on the ice at once.
Yes, had the Rover
okay, Bruce,
in addition.
For a bonus point, name one member of the Ottawa Silver Seven.
Oh, boy. Silver Seven. Wasn't One-Eye McGee on that team? Frank One-Eye McGee?
I'll Google that. Was Jack Dara? Was Cy Deneni? So. Okay, who did you say?
Frank McGee.
Frank
around
McGee.
1905, before there was an NHL.
Ottawa.
He scored 14 goals in one game against Dawson City.
Frank McGee, Ottawa Club. Wow, 1903 to 1906.
Yeah. No, I think it was 1905 that he scored the 14 in one game against Dawson City. Team that came in all the way from Dawson City, riding on dog sleds, and they came by about 5 different modes of transportation that would have done Steve Martin and John Candy proud. And they played one sort of semi-competitive game, and then in the second game they got absolutely spanked.
I was also correct about Cy Deneni, but I'm not finding Dara. Okay. What was his name? Blackjack Dara?
Frank, I think, wasn't it?
Frank. They always had great nicknames back in the day.
Oh, yeah, many. There certainly was a couple of Blackjacks.
Frank Dara. Let's see. Anyway, we're wasting time here. Yeah. Bruce, looks like he was on with Frank Nieber. Mm-hmm. Man, we're a whole 100 years past that era, aren't we? Like that era now. Bruce, let's hope the Oilers make some history this year. I'm getting a good feeling about it.
Oh, they have.
Yeah, they already have. 2 good things, 2 bad things, 2 numbers, and 1 conundrum. What is your good thing?
Yeah, I'm going to credit the hockey gourds, who have been on Edmonton's side for a while now. Edmonton's pulled a rabbit out of their hat in several games recently, usually in the third period, and sometimes even in overtime, where they have gotten some kind of a break, a call, a review. For example, they had 2 reviews go against them in Chicago, but they had a very big review go in their favor in Montreal, where they won in overtime, and another one, big one against Seattle, where they had a 1-goal lead. You know, so they're getting the breaks are coming at the right time. Well, there was no bigger break, surely, than the winning goal credited to Sam Gagner tonight. I just watched the replay that they showed in slow motion, and I put it in my slow motion, frame by frame, from the slow motion to count all the deflections that this puck took. And from the time Gagner shot it till it went into the net, it bounced off 5 different things.
Are you serious? I counted just
serious.
2.
5 different things. It hit the shaft of Rasmus Anderson's stick.
Okay.
It bounced off the shaft of his stick. It hit him on the shin pad.
I saw that.
It bounced up in front of the net. It skimmed off the blocker of Dan
Vladar.
Vladar. Then it caught the cheater on his glove. You know, that extra thumb that they have sticking out to block the net? Well, the cheater worked in the Oilers' favor because it caught the cheater. Then it bounced up and hit the post, and then it went in. So it hit Anderson twice, Vladar twice, the post once, and then finally went in the net just from one sort of innocent centering pass. And that was it. That was a 2-1 goal, and basically a 2-1 game. And it was decided on as fluky a goal as I can remember, at least from the Oilers. The other teams get fluke goals all the time, of course. But anyway, that was a gift from the hockey gourds. Thank you. And it'll leave Flames fans grumbling into the night, which just makes it all the sweeter.
Well, they really deserve it, the Flames fans. Let's be honest, Bruce. And you know what? I'm going to say actually that the Oilers deserve that break. They dominated this game. I mean, especially the first period. They were lucky not to be up by 3 or
Vladar
4
was good.
goals. He was Darth Vader there. He was fantastic. He should have used the force on Gagne's goal. Sorry for that lame joke. Uh, uh, but Bruce, so the grade A shots in this game were 16-6 for the Oilers. The subset of 5 alarm shots were 8-2.
Wow.
This game was not that close. Calgary, to their credit, made it close. Vladar, he's part of the team.
Yes, he is.
Goalie is part of the team, and you like reminding people about that as much as anyone, and you are right every time you say it. So, but in terms of just flow of play, the Oilers were utterly dominant in this game and could have easily won by 5 goals. And they won by 3. They got the empty net goal. So I think the hockey gourds favor the young and the bold, and that was the Edmonton Oilers tonight.
Yeah, well, they sure caught a huge break there, and there was a few other times in the game, of course, where a little bit of puck luck probably would have resulted in a goal, and they didn't get it. But the one that did decide it was off the charts fluky. So that's my good thing.
My good thing, Bruce, is a defensive pairing, which has been getting better and better and better and better. The unheralded duo of Vincent Desharnais and Brett Kulak. They weren't great tonight. I gave them both 7s. They were both good. But I don't think I did give anyone an 8 actually in this game. But Kulak, he skated miles, made lots of plays, and he kept a clean sheet at even strength. Not one major mistake on a grade A shot against. Typical night of solid play from Kulak. Desharnais, he's looking more and more and more like he really, really belongs in the NHL. Like he's going to be here for a while in the NHL. He made the great stretch pass that kicked off the virtuous cycle leading to Ryan McLeod's goal out. Desharnais to Fogle bounces off Fogle to McLeod, who makes a great pickup of the puck and a brilliant shot. But it all starts with Vincent Desharnais' pass. He's moving the puck and handling the puck better and more confidently. You know what's missing from his game, and I don't even miss it that much. When he first came up, he was just a nasty son of a gun, slashing and hitting. But I think he realized in the playoffs he's going to get hammered for that. It's always the case. The biggest guy on the ice gets picked on for penalty minutes, and he will be a penalty machine, I think, if he tried to play too physical a game. Now he's tough when he has to be. He takes the man when he has to. But I think he's toned down that act. And instead, he's just playing super solid defensive play, especially on the penalty kill, but also at even strength. And they've been part of a very solid defensive team for the Edmonton Oilers for the past couple months. And they're my good thing tonight.
Right on. Well, if they're worth a 7, then Desharnais' stretch path should be worth an 8 in my book. But Here's a number for you. Vincent Desharnais was on the ice for 16 minutes today at 5-on-5.
Yeah,
And in those minutes, the Oilers outshot Calgary 16-4.
yeah.
16-4. And for Kulak, it was like 12-3 in one fewer minute. And then you add to the fact that, Desharnais chipped in as he usually does on the penalty kill. Just a minute and a half tonight, but part of the penalty kill that, killed all three Calgary penalties, or two and a bit Calgary penalties, or Calgary power plays. For the three penalties Edmonton took for brushing an opponent, three interference penalties. And
Wasn't that ridiculous?
the one on
Especially the first
Hyman
one
was
on Hyman.
outrageous. He was just standing there and the guy backed over his leg. Like, what's he supposed to do?
Yeah, ridiculous.
Anyway, the one on Kane, there was maybe a 1% malice aforethought, but again, he just brushed the guy. And then the one where Janmark brushed the goalie and he went down as if he'd been picked off by a stray bullet. And
Kane,
that's
you
all
can
they
always.
call it. There was other penalties probably, but they didn't call those. But the three they called on Edmonton, all for interference, one on goalie interference.
With
Or
Evander
anyway,
Kane, Bruce, I
the
think you can.
PK, if the PK hadn't been so good, that'd be my bad thing because it probably would have cost Edmonton a goal, if not the game.
Yeah, they were
Those
good though, weren't
penalties.
they?
Yep.
With Evander Kane, Bruce, you can always assume malice.
Malice aforethought. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so, and I don't even think he would object to that. Um, yeah, the Flames. Yeah, they had one good shot on the power play. Sharon Govich got a good slot shot off in the third, but other than that, they
Skinner
didn't get a
stood
lot.
tall, eh?
Yeah, Stu Skinner, you called it. You said a couple days ago you thought they'd go with him 2 games in a row.
Yep.
They did,
It
and
was the
you were
right
correct.
call, too.
There you go.
So
You can
I'm
say that
patting
with
myself
certainty.
on the head. I know I'm saying to Chris Knobloch, you made the right call, buddy, and I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, but we can
Skinner
say
came
that with
up with
certainty.
2 good games, and it's like every game he faces 27 shots. He did again tonight. And it's been his average all year, and it's been like game after game where he's at bang on 27 or very close to it. And he stops all but one or two.
Bruce, what is your bad thing?
Yeah, well, since I gave the refs a pass, I'm going to uh, single out a little bit Darnell Nurse and some of his decision making tonight.
Yeah,
And I got three plays in mind. One was the Calgary goal, where Nugent Hopkins was kind of in a little trouble. Nuge was kind of unlucky here in the what, like he got caught at the point, and what he did was he pulled it to his backhand and he fired a high lob toward the net. And Nurse was in way deep, and Nuge was out at the blue line on his spot. Well, the Calgary player made a really good play to sort of pull that puck down out of the air and quickly get it reversed the other way. And Nuge made a mistake of going towards trying to check the guy instead of backing off like the defenseman would if the defenseman had been there, which he wasn't. And the 3-on-1 emerged, and Calgary executed it basically perfectly, and that was their goal. There was a play in the second period where Nurse, first of all, he made a good play to get the puck, but he had the puck on his stick, and they were trying to make the long change, and he just held the puck, and he held the puck, and he held the puck in his own end for like 5 steamboats. And he had several options, pass it out of the zone, fire it up to some guy who can tip it into the other zone, do a high diagonal lob down into the far corner. And he just holds it. It's like he freezes with the puck on his stick. And finally, a guy attacks him. And without looking, he just fires behind the back around the boards, backwards, without looking. And Cody Ceci isn't where he guessed Cody Ceci may have been, because he never actually looked to see where Ceci was. And it went to Calgary guy, and they had pressure, and that wound up being a 2-minute shift for Nurse and Ceci because I could never get off the ice after that. It was just a. He even could have skated it out like he had all day originally, and he thought, I'm going to hold it and make a good pass with it, which I assume was the intent. And then the third one was when he joined an Oilers rush with 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the game, leading 2-1. and the Oilers come bursting over the blue line. Who comes charging up the middle of the ice but Darnell Nurse? Well, that'd probably be a great play if they'd been losing 2-1 at the time. But they were ahead, and I just thought, this is not the time for jumping out of position looking for a clinching goal. I mean, there's so little time on the clock. You got to be thinking defense first, second, and
Excuse me.
third at that point. And Nurse, and oh, what I forgot to say was after his mistake holding and turning over the puck, he did make a huge defensive play right in front to take away what may well have been a goal by stick checking the guy who got the great chance out of it and sort of canceling the chance. So, to his credit, he made the direct problem go away, but he caused the problem in the first place. I just thought some of his decisions in this game were a little questionable. And on the other hand, he played 22 minutes and 43 seconds, most of any Oilers D man. And, you know, they had some big moments in the defensive end as well. Him and Cece, I thought Cece was good.
Yeah, I thought CC was better than Nurse. He made fewer, as usual, he fewer erratic decisions. Um, and Nurse did make one really nice break-in pass to Kane.
Mm-hmm.
But Bruce, yeah, the on the goal against, you know, it's an iffy play at the blue line. You should be sensing that this is an iffy
Right.
play. Now he was trying to give him a passing option by moving in, I think, rather than going for the gusto to try to score. But yeah, I didn't like that decision at all. He should be just Nurses at his best when he's playing conservative hockey. When he's moving his feet and making plays with the puck, but plays from the back to the front, passes up. Nurse is quite a good passer. He's an excellent passer. He can rip off excellent passes, and overall, he's a good passer. But I don't like him on the rush particularly. I don't think he's ever been very effective at it. He's not someone, um, he just doesn't. He's not able to get in tight to the net and make a move and score. But he's so. I just, it was just, we're just see that again and again throughout his career. We hadn't been seeing it so much in the last couple months, and I think in the last couple games actually we've been seeing a little bit more. He seems to be getting a little antsy to score or something, put up some points. But he shouldn't worry about that. If he just plays defense, he's such a fine player. And Cody Cece is an example of that. I mean, he's a solid defender. Although I didn't like the way he played the 3-on-1, and I didn't understand. He shaded so far over to the puck carrier, coming down the wing, that he left the slot guy right open. Instead of playing the middle, he shaded over to the shooter, and he did that on an earlier play as well, where it was a partial break in, and a forward came back and helped out, but CC was way over, and let in on that one he was taking away the pass, but he let the shooter come right in and rip a good shot in the first period instead of playing the middle. I was a little confused by his play. I haven't seen him defend like that on a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-1 rush. Usually he's pretty good right in the middle. But anyway, Bruce, my bad thing for the second game in a row is Connor Brown not scoring. He had he had, he had one of the most. How did it not go in? How? He had one of the most wide open nets you will see, and it was a brilliant pass. Dylan Holloway looked really
Yeah,
good in
that's a
his
good pass.
game first game back with the Oilers after injury. He's been down in Bakersfield for 4 games. He made a great pass, no look pass. He was looking to shoot faking out the goalie, which is why Vladar was way over on his side of the net. And then Holloway just put it into the middle of the ice where Brown was charging in. And Brown had half the net, 2/3 of the net wide open.
All of the net.
All of the net. Yes, if we're
Vladar threw
complete.
his arm over to cover like 1 square foot of the 24, and
Well,
that's
he
where he
shot it.
shot it.
He shot it right back at Vladar, who was
Mm-hmm.
way out of position on the shot.
Yeah,
A
hit him in
whole
the
net to
arm.
shoot at, and he was so keen to get off that shot and score that first goal of the year that he shot it right at Vladar. The only place he could have shot on net that
No.
wasn't going to be a goal, he managed to hit that spot. Oh, that was painful. And I just, there's that old saying, he's got plenty of luck, all of it
All of it
bad.
bad.
Yeah.
He did three
Oh,
things. He did three things right on that play. In
yeah.
terms of that shot, he shot it quickly, he shot it hard, and he shot it upstairs. He did all of those things. He just shot about 5 feet further less left than he needed to. And Vladar just sort of desperate flung his arm over there, and of course the puck hit it like a magnet. And I thought like that
Poor
had
guy.
sure goal. Like he could have that chance. Give him that chance 10 times. I'm thinking he scores 7 or 8 of them.
Yeah,
You
I think
know,
so.
and that was the 1 or 2 out of 10 where something went wrong.
Yeah,
Except
poor
for with
guy.
him, it's 10 out of 10. It's just unreal. Something always goes wrong.
Well, that was his best chance of the year, I think, that I can recall. I'm pretty sure. I mean, it doesn't get much better than
Hmm.
that. Like you say, it was like an
No.
80% chance. 4 out of 5 times an NHL four will score from that
Hmm.
spot. Poor Connor Brown. He's like, maybe he should change his name to Charlie Brown. Oh, that was unkind, but I meant it. All right, Bruce, what is your number?
Yeah, well, 13's the underlying number, but I'll go with 50 and 22, which is the Oilers' goals for and against over the course of this uh, 13 Canadian record game winning streak. And of a special mention, the 22. The Oilers have allowed 22 goals against in 13 games. Like,
Wow.
that's fantastic. They gave in three of each of the first two games, and you may recall the second three, Rangers got their third goal with 1 second left. They had to review the clock to see if it counted, and Skinner was kind of disconsolate to give up a third
Oh,
goal.
yeah,
You could
that's
see
right.
it that game. That was the last game before Christmas. Well, since Christmas, they played 11 games, and they've given up, what is it, 16 goals in 11 games? Like, that's less than 1.5 per game.
Yeah.
And Pickard gave in four of them, and Skinner has just been slamming the door game after game. He now personally has a 10-game winning streak, tying Grant Fuhr's franchise record from 1985-86, when, the Edmonton Oilers were pretty good in 1985-86. Grant Fuhr was pretty good. And that was well, it is the record, but it's been tied. And who knows what happens next, but they, the goal differential, like they're outscoring teams by more than a 2-to-1 ratio. And now they've gotten to the point where they're consistently winning low scoring games. Like the last 7 games of the streak, the highest score was 4-2. Highest score of the last 7 games had 6 goals in it. That is so un-Oilers as to be, it's hard to believe.
It is.
Like if you
It
told
is.
me some team was going to go on a 7-game winning streak and they were all going to be 3-1, 2-1, I would say, well, Winnipeg or, maybe New Jersey of the Trap era, or what have you, Edmonton Oilers. What? And
I guess they
so,
figured out how to win, Bruce.
they even won tonight without a point from McDavid, first one of the streak, nor
Yeah.
from Draisaitl. They just got a couple of goals from down the lineup and had a very nice empty netter by Zach
S-
Hyman.
Speaking of goals and points, my number is Ryan McLeod. He started off the year with lots of criticism. He had 2 points in his first 16 games. Since then, Bruce, in his last 25 games, he's got 17 points. 17 points in 25 games.
Nice.
That is none too shabby. And tonight's goal was a signifier of the confidence that he has now making plays. He was not, he was really struggling with the puck in the first part of the year. He's coming off injury in the preseason, and it seemed to really impact him. But he's flying out there and making great plays, and that was I've already just described it. It was a fantastic reception of the puck and an even better shot. So he presents an interesting player for the Oilers. Are they going to keep him at third line center? Are they going to put him on the wing? I mean, Evander Kane, I thought, had his best game. He had a good game last game, and he had his best game since that run in November when he was one of the Oilers' best player, if not the best player for 5 or 10 games. And Kane was really flying tonight. And you know what I noticed about Kane, Bruce, is he
Mhm.
finally was really shooting the puck with authority. I haven't seen him shoot that puck that hard.
Yeah, he was a
So,
bull in this game. He was really charging around and making command. He's not going to, nor should we expect him to have clean handles of the puck every time because that's just not his game. But what he does is power the puck forward, power himself into the greasy areas, and I had no problems at all with the game that he put forth tonight. I thought he had a strong effort. How many shots did he have?
4.
Four.
He and Ekholm
Most
had
on the
4
team,
each.
tied with Ekholm.
So, yeah, they're going to keep him there probably. I mean, which would make McLeod the third line center. I really liked Holloway at the 4C.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's not much ice time there. What did he get?
9:58.
There's not a lot of ice time there,
Yeah.
but he was a really strong center in college hockey, and to have a player like him, skilled, big, fast, who can make plays at center. Maybe the third line will be Holloway at center with McLeod on the wing and one other guy. Who knows? I'm not
Yeah.
sure who's the better center at this point. If McLeod's better on the wing and Holloway's better at center, or the other way around. But a third line with those two guys flying on it, Bruce, and one other guy who I don't know who that will
Well, the
be, but
bottom six with one of those guys flying on each line is not the worst thing either.
that's true too.
Being running down the middle. Holloway, it was he who made the great pass to Connor Brown. That by all
Yes.
rights should have been an assist. And
Yeah.
he did get an assist. Unbelievably to me, they awarded 2 assists on that Gagne goal because I
Oh,
guess it was a
really?
deflection and not specifically an own goal. I thought that had unassisted written all over it. But CC and Holloway got the apples on the Gagne goal. And he went 3 for 3 in the face-off dot, which is one measure of a center. And he just played a couple ticks under 10 minutes. And I think the over-under folks were giving him tonight was 8 minutes, and he got 10, just because of his position. As for Ryan McLeod, you mentioned his stats. Well, he has 1 point on power play, 1 point on penalty kill,
Wow.
17 points at even strength. Like that's where he does all his scoring. When you say 17 points in 25 games, that's over a 50-point season pace. 50-point seasons are hard enough without having to do it all at even strength. Like he's really on a heater.
Yeah. Shows what happens when players get healthy, get their confidence. Bruce, let's move on to our conundrum of the night. And this is PK Subban's comment that had people in an uproar. And the conundrum is, does PK Subban have a point? PK Subban is, of course, the former all-star defenseman of the Montreal Canadiens, who didn't do so well in other cities, mainly because he got a bad back, and that slowed him down. So here's what he said on Twitter, quote, "I actually love watching Edmonton play. They are just too easy to play against in their own zone. Too much emphasis on McDavid, Leon, etc., and the superhero offense to always get it done. You need to win tight games with your defense. You saw what happened last year with Vegas. Yes, Jack Eichel is a stud and an X factor, but defensive structure, goaltending, and being hard to play against won them a cup. Not just talent and skill, but hey, anything can happen." He went on. Let's see if he said anything else. Not much. Just more about. Well, here he ended off his quote with, "You need to trust your defensive structure to win you some games some nights. I need to see that consistently." Caps, all in caps there. How you win matters. Habits matter. It's about the Stanley Cup, not winning streaks. Unquote. So Bruce,
Well, what kind of habits have they got going on, David? I mean, what They haven't won any games 1-0. So there's that. Uh, but as I just mentioned, like the last 7 wins in a row: 3-1, 2-1, 3-2 in overtime, 2-1 in overtime, 4-2 with an empty net goal, 4-2, and now 3-1 with an empty net goal. Like, how tight of defensive performance are you looking for if you're thinking that's wide open and cavalier and not paying attention to defense? Like,
I think
what he said's valid from last year, but not
yeah.
now. Your turn.
I think habits matter, Bruce, and he should get in the habit of watching the Oilers more closely before he comments on them. Because listen, he's saying a lot of things I've been saying for the last, until recently,
Mm-hmm.
until about 3 weeks ago. And 3 weeks ago, Knobloch, in very kind of quiet but pointed way, pointed out the need that we've got to do better off rush chances, and our defense has to do better, and our forwards have to do better. Since that little statement in the media, the Oilers have been just playing what I call firewall hockey. We've all heard of the fire wagon hockey, the Montreal Canadiens. Well, this is Oilers firewall hockey. They are playing very solid defensive hockey. It's not perfect defensive hockey,
No such
but
thing.
there isn't. But the defensemen are playing their positions. The forwards are back checking hard. The centers are generally speaking helping out in the defensive slot. The wingers are covering the points. They're holding their defensive structure. They're back checking hard. They're not. They're generally speaking not. The defensemen aren't making bad decisions on the pinch. They've cut down on the bad decisions, and they've increased the rate of hard hustle plays to get back to their own zone and to cover in their own zone. This is firewall defense. It's. I find it really satisfying, and I love the way they're winning games. So I think Subban's comment was stale.
Yeah,
It was it
that's fair.
was it was he had a point if he was talking about the Oilers even in December when they started to win. There was still something very erratic about this team and their defensive play, and
Mm-hmm.
it has been an ongoing issue for the entire McDavid era, and they're finally getting on top of it. I think the players have realized, yeah, we want to win, and maybe there's something to what Todd McClellan, Ken Hitchcock, Dave Tippett, Jay Woodcroft told us before they all got fired. And now this new guy's saying the same thing, maybe in a way that's getting through to them right now. And they're doing it. They really are doing it in a way I've never seen the Oilers team play defense over an extended period of time. I've never seen an Oilers team, maybe in the McDavid era at least, play defense
Right.
this way. You could say the Pronger team was pretty strong on defense in the playoffs there, but this team is getting it done, and I like it.
Yeah. Well, you could go back to the 01-02 team that finished second in the league in goals against. That was a really anomalous team for the Oilers.
Yeah,
And they somehow managed to miss the playoffs despite the great defensive record that year. But that was the Tommy Salo era, and that was a
yeah,
team that had early
Eric
Craig
Brewer.
McTavish. Yeah, Eric Brewer, early Craig McTavish era, and they played fairly buttoned down. Uh, but I mean, this latest development, they're they're barely scoring at all, and yet they're scoring enough to win
What
game
year was
after
that, Bruce?
game.
2001,
Oh,
02?
01, 02, yeah,
All
yeah.
right, let's see who was on that team. I didn't know that they had finished second in the league that
Yeah,
year.
really jumped. It was really impressive at the time, and like I say, that was the 1 year in there that they somehow missed the playoffs, and it's how is that even possible?
So their defensemen were Scott Ferguson, Sean Brown, Tom Pody, Jason Smith, Eric Brewer, and Yanni Ninema.
Pretty
Yeah,
good
there's some
players.
good defensive defensemen in there. Jason Smith and Eric Brewer were. I mean, Eric Brewer made Team Canada
Hmm.
in
Yeah,
2002,
he did.
so that's partly why. Yeah, so yeah, I thought the thing about it is like until the Oilers win the Stanley Cup, Bruce, excuse me, they're open to criticism. They're going to keep
Yep,
getting criticized. They're going to
yep.
keep there's going to be all forms of idiotic comments, and some of them interesting comments, some of them idiotic, some of them wise, some of them unwise. It's just going to be, on and on and on, people commenting about this, that, and the other aspect of why this team hasn't won the Stanley Cup in the McDavid era. And until they do, that's going to continue. And in the end, nothing matters except them winning in the playoffs. And they're certainly rounding into a team. They're developing the habits that they're going to need in the playoffs to win in the playoffs. And right now, I don't see any team beating them, but injuries can happen, and goaltenders can get hot or cold. But other than that, this is a fantastic team.
And the bounces at the wrong moment
Yeah,
or the right
anything.
moment that can change on a dime. Right now, they're kind of riding the wave on that front.
Yeah. Well, look what happened. I think they brought it up on the broadcast tonight. Boston last year, right? Or was that maybe that was on a podcast I was listening to today? But it was
Comes up a lot.
yeah. You can do everything right. You can be an absolutely dominating, outstanding team, and it just in the playoffs, it's for some reason. Well, it was injuries. Like their top two centers, I believe, both Krejci and Bergeron were injured. And I don't know, was Bergeron playing with one lung or some
He was
crazy thing?
playing, but he was not near his normal self. It's a sad way
Yeah,
for him to go out.
yeah. So fantastic teams can go out. The Oilers are playing like the Boston Bruins in this run of games. They're playing like the Boston Bruins did last year. This is that style of hockey, and it's not 4 or 5 goals a game, but it is 13 wins in a row.
It sure is. And it's just very bizarre. If you told me the Oilers would win 7 straight games, this is again the last part of the winning streak where Connor McDavid didn't score more than 1 point in any of the games, I would have said no, not happening.
No, yeah, I
Not
agree.
happening. Sooner or later there's going to be a game where he gets 3 or 4 points and they blow someone out, right? Well, that hasn't happened for a long time. Philly game, I guess, January 2nd.
Yeah. I thought Leon actually looked really good tonight and played.
Mm-hmm.
That line was really strong. Excuse me, got a lot of grade A shots at even strength and was their best line, I thought. Leon, Kane, and Fogle. Fogle was unlucky not to score in the first.
Yeah, officially Leon had no shots and was 35% on the dot tonight. You look at that and say he wasn't effective. I thought he distributed the puck well, and I thought that his play in his own zone, man, he made again a back check in the third period where he came back against big odds and he took the puck off of the Calgary guy who had
He's
it and
playing
got
great.
it back out of the zone. And when he decides he wants that puck, doesn't have to be the offensive zone to use the same skills. And he's doing more stripping of pucks in the D zone lately, and I'm here for it.
Here's my theory on Leon Draisaitl, Bruce. The early in the game, the lower you see Leon Draisaitl skating to the ice, the more down low he is and digging in, the better he's going to be that game. The taller he is, kind of
Mm-hmm.
skating tall and brittle.
Mm-hmm.
So they should measure him on the first shift. If he's below 6 feet on the ice, he's going to bring a really, really good game.
Okay. Yeah, he tends to do more two-footed skating when he's more erect for sure. And as he leans into it, and this is true for many players, to keep the low profile, the legs moving is part of the
Takes a lot of
balance.
energy. It takes a
It
lot of
does.
energy to skate lower to the ice,
It does.
and it's just this. What that is it's a signal of how much energy he has that night, I think, and a fairly. It's not just for him; it's for a lot of players. But the lower they get, the better they're going to be. All right,
Mm.
Bruce, you got to get to bed. That's my
Yeah,
prescription.
yeah. Was there a conundrum in there?
We did. Subban was the conundrum.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Did
Subban's
he have a
comment.
point?
Subban, yeah. I actually replied to PK, and I don't usually, and I pointed out the runnings, the scores of the winning streak, and saying, you need to watch for more recent Oilers a little bit. I was a little turned off by some of the personal comments in those replies, which are
Oh, geez.
unnecessary for anyone. I mean, all he's doing is stating his opinion. You can take a shot at his opinion all day long, right? That should be the subject. Doesn't make him a idiot, or some of the various epithets that were thrown out. And
Well, he's got $50 million
yeah,
and
he's
a million followers on Twitter. So
he's also got a
yeah,
James Norris trophy on his shelf.
there
I
you
mean,
go.
this was a hell of a player. It's not
Before
like
he got hurt, yeah,
mhm.
he was a tremendous hockey player, and
He was a
it was
Corsi god,
I did find it a
PK
little
Subban.
ironic because he was never really known for his defensive habits. That he was, but you know what?
Uh-huh.
It's that guy who knows. Maybe he really knows more than anyone um, how important that is. All right, Bruce. Thanks for talking tonight.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. And thanks for filling in on the grades tonight, David. I'm going to hit the pillow.
Yeah, no problem, Bruce. And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.